The red and the blue. Should be an interesting one here, Turner. I'm looking forward. There's so many young, exciting, up-and-coming players on the Redhawks, and then Anderson MIRAMBEAUX, when he comes in, is an absolute must-watch.
Oh, yeah, he's tough to guard.
So the Redhawks win the opening toss, and they will get the first possession, and they'll roll out with 3 freshmen in the starting lineup here this afternoon, and they'll play probably 5 consistently throughout this game. But they've got the veteran Darwishi Hunter, number 4, to calm things down, and you'll see a lot of that here today as well. Aggressive early defense by the Bulls. Shot clock under 10. Loop it around for the three-pointer from the big man, Reese Potter. It won't go, and now the Bulls get their first chance. And here's Ryan Sable, the freshman for Buffalo, playing catch with Isaiah Adams. Adams Joe Smith was falling down, but he was able to get that pass out to side Chapman, and then Smith regains himself, gets the offensive rebound. Sable for 3, good.
Smith is picking up off what he did last game, and it's like the ball attracts to him. He's got a high motor, does a good job.
It's a really athletic play by Joe Smith.
Absolutely.
Starting lineups presented by the UB Alumni Association, representing over 293,000 alumni in 150 countries worldwide. Elmer, Hunter, Cooper, Bultman, and Potter. We mentioned Potter, Cooper, Elmer are the 3 freshmen in the starting lineup, and we'll likely see a few more as things go on. And there's a bucket first of the game for Ian Elmer, one of those freshmen. As you look at the Buffalo starting lineup, Chapman, Sable, Adams, Bolden, and Janavius Smith.
That was one of those backdoor plays that we talked about earlier in the game. Miami, Ohio runs that Princeton offense, and they do a really good job spacing the floor, and they really take advantage of you falling asleep off the ball.
We're going to have you talk a little more about what that all means and how it all works as we go through this game. George Halkovich III in his first year as the Buffalo head coach after that outstanding run of 15 years at Villanova. Getting things figured out here in Buffalo is George Halkovich III. Bulls looking to go over 500 in Mid-American Conference play here tonight. Little runner from the lane, does beat the shot clock. And look at Joe Smith battling, and we'll get a jump ball, and that will stay with the Bulls.
Yeah, he's all over the glass. He's always got it.
Travis Steele in his second year as the head coach of the Miami Redhawks, formerly the head coach at Xavier, and some time as assistant at Indiana and Ohio State. And Travis Steele really gave us some interesting insight when we had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and we'll relay some of those thoughts of how he's getting things built and rebuilt and moving forward with the Redhawks program. This is A.J. Bolden, trades off with Chapman, stolen away. Double teamed, and the steal comes from Darwishi Hunter. This is Bultman behind the back dribble, and he almost had it stolen away. High post for the 7'1" freshman Reese Potter. Elmer guarded by Adams.
This is when they're most dangerous at the end of the shot clock. You got to really be disciplined defensively to make them take a tough shot.
3 on the shot clock. Hunter will go up, and he'll get fouled on that shot that didn't really have a lot of chance to go in, but 3 free throws are coming for Darwishi Hunter.
Looks like they may it's one of those new rules where I guess you're supposed to let him land, and looks like Adams might have been in the path of him landing.
So bailed out by the foul, Darwishi Hunter to the free throw line, a 78% free throw shooter for the graduate student and the transfer from Northern Illinois. Leading scorer this year for the Redhawks. And we get our first look at the big man, Anderson MIRAMBEAUX, checking in along with a couple of other players for the Redhawks, including Ryan Mabry, but you're going to want to keep your eyes on number 45. He is unique as size and unique as a player. All 3 free throws are good for Darwishi Hunter.
Miami's looking to extend their defense a little bit, really try to stay in the gaps and make Buffalo take contested jump shots.
And they'll play a lot of players, which I think allows the defense to stay a little more aggressive. Look how quick they are sliding from one side to the other. Into the lane for Smith, kick it out for Bolden, wide open three, back iron no good, and there's MIRAMBEAUX on the stat sheet with the rebound.
That was good offense by the Bulls. Inside out three, that was a good offense.
And double dribble as MIRAMBEAUX a little lazy there and wound up traveling and turning it over. 6'8", 305 pounds from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And Bulls fans will remember he lit them up pretty good. Had 18 points in both games against the Bulls last year.
Yeah, he's tough to guard. I mean, he does a little bit of everything.
And he can shoot the three, too. Wouldn't be surprised to see him put a couple up here today.
Oh, yeah.
Adams, top of the key, Sable. Cross-court, Bolden. Good ball movement by the Bulls. Chapman on the baseline. Can Cy find space? And offensive foul is the call. Little too aggressive for Cy, trying to create room against Bryce Boltman.
I thought Boltman did a good job by cutting that right hand off and took it right in the chest. That was a good job by Boltman by sitting on that right hand.
Sean Fulcher will check into the ball game for the Bulls. A.J. Bolden will have a seat on the bench. Redhawks come in at 0-2 in the MAC, a tough loss to Western Michigan, and then a game last week, or on Friday night against Toledo, where they led by 14 in the second half and looked great, but the little more veteran-savvy Toledo team started to make some plays. Miami didn't, and it winds up being a 4-point Toledo victory. Here's MIRAMBEAUX. Look how he backs in and takes Joe Smith down to the ground.
Joe tries his best to put his chest on him, which is what they teach. But he's 305 and kind of lost his footing a little bit. And MIRAMBEAUX did a good job by initiating and engaging the contact there by drawing a foul on Smith.
There's a lot of backside to move into a defender. How do you handle that as a defensive player?
Well, one thing, you got to push him off the block. You got to try to make him not catch it as far away from the basket as can. You got to put your chest on him, and you got to use your quickness as an advantage. So you got to beat him to spots.
So really, the defense has to come before he gets the pass.
Absolutely. You got to work harder beforehand.
And here he is. Look at him back in on Zakir Williamson, and that's what makes him such a unique and fun player to watch. Is he just created all of his own space.
And I thought Williamson did a good job on defense. That just was a better offensive play.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be hard to ask some of the Bulls players to just handle that size. Fulcher, top of the key, three for Bolden, got it.
The Bulls are doing a good job. The shots that they're shooting are good shots. Their inside-out threes is what you want, and they did a good job by penetrating pitch on that possession.
And you can see the early three-point numbers here. And keep in mind, Miami is one of the better teams in the country at defending three. Now here comes MIRAMBEAUX again. This time he goes hook shot, but comes up short.
Williamson did a good job by putting his chest on, hitting him early, and made him take a tough shot.
Kept him a little far away for the hook shots.
Right.
Fulcher will shoot from the elbow and hit.
The Fulcher's that spark off the bench again. You know, he comes in with a scorer's mentality, and he's a kid that can get it going. If he gets it going, which is what they need, that could really help the Bulls with another double-figure score. Started
the first 12 games, but I think you make a good point. I think there's a little bit of Sean Fulcher's game that can be a spark off the bench.
Oh, yeah. He's a guy that can score, that has shown that he can score double figures in games.
Evan Ipsaro, number 2 in the ball game, really a fun and exciting freshman point guard. He did not play in their game Friday night with a little bit of an ankle injury, but he is back and playing. And there's Ryan Mabry hitting the jump shot for the Redhawks to give them the lead back.
What's really impressive about Miami's offense is their spacing. You know, their spacing and their pace. You know, they don't. Buffalo's not. They can't speed them up, but they do a really good job.
And aggressive move to the rim for Fulcher. That will draw the foul, and we'll have to wait a few minutes for the free throws because we're going to our first media timeout of the evening. Sean Fulcher hitting the 2. 1 in the MAC in three-point defense. So they're number 1 shooting threes, number 1 stopping threes, which when we asked Travis Steele, like, how does that come about? He said, well, threes count more than 2, right? And I think it's a strategy to say, hey, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. We're going to get guys that are good at shooting them, and we'll try to work on the rest of the stuff. But if we make a lot of threes, we're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, that's his philosophy. You know, like you said, threes are better than 2s, and you know, they shoot a whole lot of them. And what's unique about their team is a lot of their threes are off those assists. You know, with that offense, it's a lot of passing, a lot of cutting.
you know, and you spent a long time as a coach, and I know how coaches think. You want to be good at everything. But somewhere along, you have to make a decision as a coach and go, you know what, we're going to be really good at these one or two things, and we're going to try to not be awful at the others, but let those other things carry us.
Yeah, I think that's what makes coaches really good, you know, as you know, especially coaches that's had experience, like Coach Steele. You know, Cohen, when he took the Miami, Ohio job, he probably is comfortable and had three things that he wanted to be good at, and we can see what those three things are.
Yeah, no question about it. And, you know, and again, and as he evolves this program, he'll work on getting players who are better at filling in some of those things that they're not very good at right now. Long three, top of the key from Mabry, won't go. Ryan Mabry, top 10 in the MAC in three-point shooting. Matter of fact, the Red Hawks have 4 players in the top 25 in the MAC in shooting threes. Get it in for Cy Chapman, and Chapman had it knocked away, but he'll get fouled by Jaquel Morris.
No, he's just posting up, and I thought Adams hit him in the sweet spot, and Morris got there with his body and not with his hands up. That's a good call.
Inbound from under the basket, Isaiah Adams will trigger. Gets it into Chapman, who loses the handle and has it stolen away into the hands of Makai Cooper. Here comes Cooper, one-on-one with Fulcher, and it's good. Freshman Makai Cooper on the board with his first 2.
Yeah, the coaches are really high on him. Love his speed, his demeanor as a point guard. You know, they're really, really excited about him.
And one of those freshmen that we're going to talk a lot about as the day goes on, and that a lot of the future for the Red Hawks is going to be based on how those guys play. Isaiah Adams misses the 3, offensive rebound for the Bulls. Chapman, quick step around the baseline, and the foul will come as he turns the corner. Going to go on Ian Elmer.
It's a good attack here. Does a really good job changing speeds. Good finish. Good finish around the basket.
Freshman from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Makai Cooper.
He's more of a scorer than Ipsaro. You know, he's a guy who scores a little bit more. Ipsaro is the more who facilitates.
Here comes Cy, looking for an opening. He'll work it around. Watch the shot clock, down to 6. Isaiah Adams, baseline, feeds the cutter. Cy Chapman, right-handed layup goes in, and Cy's got his first 2. The Mac's number 3 scorer and number 1 on the Bulls at 18.8 a game.
Good attack by Adams. Great find. Great find.
With the shot clock winding down, there wasn't a whole lot of time left either. We're going to get a whistle away from the ball. It's going to be a foul on the Bulls. It'll go on Lloyd McVeigh.
Adams attacking baseline, keeping his head up, and had Cy Chapman cutting down the middle of the paint.
Look at the long reach from Cy Chapman. That's a easy scoop layup from the logo, basically.
Right.
Cooper will trigger under the basket for the Red Hawks, and they'll get it into the 7'1" Reese Potter. He'll back in on Zakir Williamson. Little baby hook shot goes. Impressive for the freshman from Lexington, Kentucky, Reese Potter.
He's another one of the freshmen they talk about. He's very skilled at 7'1". He can shoot it. He can pass it. He fits their offense very well.
Coming off a career-high 12 points in the game on Friday against Toledo.
And he's a guy that they're talking about just kind of getting in the rhythm. He's kind of had some injuries and some things, so he's kind of just getting into the swing of things.
Yeah, missed the first 2 months of the season with a preseason injury. Off the miss. Here come the Red Hawks again. Cooper gets the screen. Gives it back to his teammate Morris. And into the hands of the shooter Ryan Mabry. Lots of screen action going on. Mabry finds the opening, finds the bottom of the net.
That's a tough shot by Mabry. Pretty good defense by the Bulls, but better shot by Mabry. He has a lot of confidence. He's not shy. He's coming in and firing them.
He has taken the most and made the most three-pointers on this Red Hawks team. Actually taken the most, but not made the most. We will get a timeout. Miami starting to heat up. They are a three-point shooting team, and here is one of them. So now, of course, Ryan's got to protect the broken nose, but he's had back-to-back games of 15 points since he's been wearing the mask. Do we think he's ever going to take it off?
He probably shouldn't at this point.
It's where superstition comes into play, and I think there's a little Bane-looking cool element to it too, isn't there?
Oh yeah, and a lot of NBA guys are doing it.
Off the screen, Mabry can't hit the top of the key three like he just did before the break, so Buffalo now with a chance to cut into this 5-point Red Hawks lead. Janavius Smith back in the ball game. Adams for Chapman. Sai going to go cross court for Sables. Pops up the three. Good.
Right on point. That was a good pass by Chapman.
The masked man with the catch and shoot three for the Bulls.
Miami was heavy help.
Stolen away. Chapman got a hand on it. Chapman will wind up getting it and then fall back over the defender, and that's where we get the whistle.
Chapman did a good job. They were loaded up, and then he just skipped it. Wide open shot. Sable stepped in, knocked it down.
Those three-point shooters just love it when you can drop it right in their hands like that.
Oh, yeah. The basket gets big.
And here's the replay of the foul, and that'll be the second of the game on Jaquel Morris. That'll bring Anderson Mirambeaux back in the game. Chance for the Bulls to take the lead here. Already had 3 lead changes in this one. Looping in for Janavius Smith. Joe will dribble, lose it, get it back to Chapman. Sai goes down the lane, hangs and hits.
Tough shot. Tough shot. Great move by Chapman. Chapman he's just athletic. He knows how to put the ball in the basket.
Cooper pulls up from the free throw line off glass and good. He'd only had 4 points in his last 2 games. He's got 4 early here for Makai Cooper.
Looks like Miami's in a 2-3 zone. They weren't happy with what they were doing defensively, so just switching it up a little bit.
Don't see a lot of zone in the middle. You don't see a lot of zone anywhere anymore, do you?
No, you don't, just because of that.
And that's going to be 3 shots for Ryan Sable as Mabry comes out and fouls him. And that's a long way away from the basket to be fouling somebody.
Well, that drives coaches crazy.
I teed you up for that one because I knew you were going to say that. Right? If you're going to foul, make it worth it and make it be within 5 feet of the basket. Good series that goes back a long time between these two teams. Of course, East rivals, as we mentioned, almost always played 2 times in a row. So this is the 56th meeting with a narrow 1-game advantage for the Red Hawks over the Bulls. And again, as I mentioned, this will be the only matchup between these two teams this season outside of a potential matchup at the MAC tournament in Cleveland. Sables hit the first 2. Got one more. And he's got it. 80% free throw shooter for the freshman Ryan Sable. 9 points early for him coming off back-to-back games of 15 points. Ryan Sable starting to heat up. Here's Ipsaro, the freshman point guard. Will hand it off to Boltman. Now they'll work it around the court.
Smith doing a good job fighting in there.
And now they'll pull Mirambeaux way outside. Remember, he can shoot from out here. He can drive from out here, too. And he can get around defenders. And that is, in a nutshell, what makes Anderson Mirambeaux such a tough player to guard.
You're not going to win a physical battle with him. So you got to pick and choose your side. Janavius Smith has to use his length to try to make him shoot over top of him. Because Mirambeaux doesn't have a whole lot of lift around the basket.
You've got a little history with Mirambeaux, correct? At one point you did some recruiting of him, right?
Yeah, one of the teams I was on at East Tennessee State, one of our guys who does a lot of JUCO recruited him, and I went to see him, and when I saw him, I was like, man, look at this guy. And then next thing you know, the guy hits a 3, he dunks it, and then he does a no-look pass in transition.
And he's still doing a lot of that stuff. Although, how much different of a player is he now than maybe the one you saw? That would have been like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, he might have been a little bigger back then. You know, he may have been a little bigger.
So the offensive foul gets called on Janavius Smith. That's something to watch. That's 2 now on Janavius Smith. And again, the Bulls don't have a lot of size and height to try to guard guys like Mirambeaux and the 7-footer Potter.
And that's why they're going to the zone here, but they got to be careful not give up a 3.
And that 3 will not fall for Cooper. And here comes Fulcher. And that's a corner jumper for Bolden. He goes down, no foul. And back come the Red Hawks. Top of the key, Mirambeaux. Oh, he thought about shooting it. Instead, he'll drive down to the low block. The little hook shot goes.
That's just a little sweet spot, right hand hook. Once again, I thought that was pretty good defense by Williamson, just better offense.
What are you going to do, right? And, you know, what can you do? What do you do?
I think he's got to continue doing what he's doing. And continue to hope that he misses him, kind of push him off his sweet spot.
Step back three for Sean Fulcher, who continues to struggle from beyond the arc. And speaking of beyond the arc, there's Mirambeaux. That three won't fall. That is the 11th attempted three-pointer of the season for Anderson Mirambeaux. Fulcher, scoop shot, good.
He's tough. He doesn't need to settle as much. He's hard to keep out of the paint. Man. He does a good job. I think when he settles, that's what the other team wants him to do. He's got to continue to attack that paint for himself and for his teammates.
Sophomore from Brooklyn, junior college transfer. George Halkovich told us before the season he plays with New York City confidence.
He's a tough kid.
And again, Mirambeaux picks up the trash and dumps it in.
And when he catches 2 feet in the block charge circle area, man, it's hard to stop that.
And there you see the numbers on the big man, Anderson Mirambeaux, who is only playing in his 6th game. He was ineligible for the early part of the season. I think they're slowly working him back in, which is why he didn't start, why they've limited his minutes a bit. Bolden turns, hangs, has it roll out, and that's going to be a foul on the Bulls. They're going to get Chapman for his second. That's not a good development for the Bulls. This development is a timeout as you watch Anderson Mirambeaux, sophomore for the Bulls, and you know to think that Zakir is in there and he's, depending on where Mirambeaux tipped the scales at lately, that might be somewhere between 80 to 100 pounds difference for a 230-pounder.
Right.
First end of the 1-and-1 will not go for Makai Cooper, and a chance for the Bulls to tie this game up. As well as Miami has shot, and as fun as Mirambeaux has been to watch, and you saw that point in the paint stat, that has a lot to do with him. The Bulls are hanging in there and playing well enough to be within range of this game. That wild shot from Fulcher wouldn't go.
With this group that they have in, they got to make sure Adams gets some touches, especially in that mid-post or mid-range area.
Darwishi Hunter short on the layup, short on the reverse layup, and right into the hands of Elmer, who can't finish, and that has to be a foul. Oh no, a jump ball. Oh, fans don't like that one.
Oh, it looked like he jumped on his back.
No, it didn't look like it, Turner. He did. Watch 35 and 5 coming up right here.
Yeah, he's on his back. I mean, how is that not a foul?
I don't know. But it's a jump ball call. Chris Beaver, Mark Riggs, and Nate Harris are officiating triumvirate here this evening, and not exactly high on the Bulls fans' pleasure list at the moment. Potter turns back again, throws it up with the right hand, it won't go, and Williamson with the rebound.
Really good defense by Williamson, keeping him out of the paint area as best he could. I thought he did a really good job.
And almost a steal. Instead, Fulcher will take advantage of one guy short and score. And Sean Fulcher is the leading scorer, at least with 8 points, second to Sable's 9 right now.
Yeah, he's bringing that spark. That's what the Bulls need.
Hunter, top of the key now for Elmer. Handed off to Mabry off the screen. Nice give and go, and the two-handed dunk for Reese Potter. That is your Princeton offense.
Right.
We'll show that to you again so that you can explain it, but that give and go theory is what makes that so tough.
Right. That along with the spacing makes it really hard to guard and help off of with the way that Miami shoots the ball.
Red Hawks by 3. Adams, top of the key, Sable, bullseye.
That's a good pass by Adams. He could have over-penetrated, drive there, but Miami's heavy in the gaps on those guys, and they made the great plays by passing it to Sable for a shot.
Ryan Sable is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, 12 points already. Under 5 minutes to go first half. Collision in the lane, no call. Elmer, layup good. Fulcher playing the point position at the moment. Trades off with Sable. Gets a screen from Williamson. Now give it back to Zakir Williamson, who fumbles it, and he'll have to feed Bolden. Bolden will go up, and he'll draw the foul. The Bulls with a little bit of Princeton offense look there.
Yeah, he did a good job. Penetrate pitch off the ball screen, passing in the paint. Good cut here by Bolden. Good pass by Williamson. What makes Miami is their spacing. Look at the Princeton offense. They got 4 guys around 1, and it really puts a strain on your help defense. If they help too much, they give up a wide open 3.
A.J. Bolden, first free throw is good, and that's what makes that offense. It's hard to learn and to teach because it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of repetitions, right? It's not very freewheeling, but when you get a team that figures it out, it's really hard to stop.
It is. And what the advantage that the Bulls have is they played against Richmond, who runs a very similar offense, so they have a chance. They've seen this before. It's not, sometimes when you see this for the first time, it's really hard to guard because you can't simulate how fast the cuts are in practice.
Get it down low for Mirambeaux, who spins around and hits an and one opportunity for Anderson Mirambeaux, and he is having his way down low right now.
Miami ran a cross screen action for him, which he caught 2 feet in the paint. Sable probably could have helped a little bit there to help Williamson out.
Lloyd McVeigh picks up his second foul, trying to help out a little bit. And Anderson Mirambeaux with a chance at the three-point play. As we showed at the beginning of the broadcast, 2 games against the Bulls last year for Anderson Mirambeaux, 18 and 11 in one, 18 points in the other. So he seems to like playing against Buffalo.
Must like the arena and the rims.
It may be.
Chapman's back in the game with 2 fouls. I think offensively you got to try to get him a touch. And defensively, he's got to be careful.
All right, so yeah, with 3:50 plus or about 3:50 to go, the last thing you want to have happen is him to get that 3rd foul before the end of the first half.
Right.
Mirambeaux way out on defense. Fulcher instead will go cross court, almost picked up, but Sable pulls up for the jumper. Front rim no good. Red Hawks pull it down. Here's Darwishi Hunter leading the break. Bounce pass for Mirambeaux. Kicks it out. Mabry. That was deflected by Bolden.
That's a great play by Bolden. He could have easily given up on that play and allowed them to get a 3.
Watch it again. As we watch it, we'll take it to a break as A.J.
I think that's one thing the Bulls do a really good job of. Chapman, Bolden, those guys do a good job of chasing down, blocking shots.
So let's see if the Bulls can take advantage of that great defensive effort by A.J. Bolden and prevent a score here in a 3-point game. They get it into the lane. Jaquel Morris, that might have been deflected by Chapman. Offensive rebound will go up and in, and that's Anderson Mirambeaux. 13 points now for him to go along with 2 rebounds. And look at the points in the paint. There's just another example of it. Doubling up on the Bulls are the Red Hawks.
This is something that the Red Hawks were concerned about with the Bulls, but the Red Hawks are doing a good job by scoring in the paint, and a lot of that is because of Mirambeaux.
And Sean Fulcher's in double figures after hitting that layup.
They can't keep him out of the paint, man. He's got to keep attacking. He's doing a really good job by getting in the paint, scoring. He's bringing that spark.
Mirambeaux, top of the key. Dumps it inside, stolen away by Fulcher. You got a 2-on-1 here. Bolden, and that's a 2-handed slam.
There's a good pass by Fulcher. He could have kept the ball and made it 3-on-1, which is a tough situation, but he passed it 2-on-1, and then they were able to get it dunked.
1-point game. Ipsaro, the point guard, to Darwishi Hunter. He has not hurt the Bulls so very much so far here today. Into the lane for Morris. Morris will drive on Chapman. Good defense by Cy Chapman. Unfortunately, that won't matter because it's going to be a 3-point play opportunity for Jaquel Morris. I thought it was good defense.
I thought it was too. I thought he just did a good job walling up. All the body contact was created by Morris.
And that's the 3rd now. What do we talk about? It's the one thing the Bulls couldn't have happen as you watch A.J. Bolden glide in for the 2-handed dunk. The one thing couldn't have happened was Cy Chapman get his 3rd foul.
Right.
And Morris finishes off the 3-point play. So now that will certainly be something to watch for, and certainly something that's going to be on the mind of George Halkovich III as to how he deals not only defensively, Turner, but that's your number one scorer and one of the best scorers in the MAC that's going to see limited minutes now.
These next 2 minutes are very important for the Bulls. They got to take care of the ball, get good shots on offense, and honestly keep going to Fulcher. Let him attack the paint, spread the court out, get some false movement on the backside, and let him get in the paint because they can't guard him.
McVeigh into the corner, kicks it to the top of the key. Bolden for three, rims out.
That was a good pass by McVeigh. That was good offensive possession by the Bulls. Just didn't finish it with the basket.
Elmer to the cutter, Mabry back to Potter. Potter had that shot affected by Williamson.
Williamson was giving some really good minutes, especially on the defensive side.
Sable, Fulcher into the double team. He'll back out. McVeigh in the corner. Couple ticks above 1 minute to go in the first half. Fulcher right down the lane, and the scoop shot's good.
Yeah, they're having a tough time keeping him out of the paint. Did a really good job by splitting the ball screen. Miami was really aggressive, split the ball screen low, and was able to get to the basket and score.
That's 11 points off the bench for Sean Fulcher. Mabry trapped down low. Kicks it out to Elmer, guarded by McVeigh. Fall away jumper. That is pretty.
Impressive
for
move.
Ian Elmer.
He's another freshman that they're high on. You know, he's really athletic. They call him a freak of nature a little bit. He can really play. They're excited about him and his future.
And Buffalo going to call a timeout here with 33.1 to go in the first half. And here's the Sean Fulcher last basket.
Yeah, Miami was really aggressive, and he split between. He was low, put the ball in between the ball screen, was able to score it. Good move by Fulcher. He's doing a really good job in the paint. Really good job scoring in the paint for him. This is what the Bulls need from him consistently, to be that spark off the bench, need him to score and have that scorer's mentality. That's what he's doing.
I'm going to say that we planned this before Sean Fulcher had his good first half, but you'll hear more as I get a chance to sit down and talk to Sean Fulcher a little bit about his life and his career here at UB. So that will be coming up shortly at halftime. See, that's the forward-thinking guys we have back in the control room. Like, they had a sense that Sean Fulcher was the right guy for the halftime interview today.
You guys planned that one out.
Not quite as exciting as the halftime from Saturday when we surprised you with the announcement of your number 11 going up to the rafters here at Alumni Arena, but Sean Fulcher will be at least interesting to talk to. How much reaction and how fun has it been for you since everybody found out about it Saturday?
Oh, it's been crazy. A lot of text messages, a lot of messages on Instagram and calls. Man, it's been great. I'm blessed, and this is a great area, and it's just overwhelmed and shocked, and just great situation.
Well, that'll be February 17th here at the Bulls game against Akron is when that pregame halftime ceremony will happen with Turner's number 11 going up on the wall. Fall away jumper to beat the shot clock won't go for Bolden, but good hustle by McVeigh. Lloyd McVeigh's floater scores. And the freshman from Australia with 2.9 seconds to go in the half pulls the Bulls to within 2.
Yeah, McVeigh's playing with not allowing Miami to go on a run without, Chapman and Adams and Smith in the game.
All right, so it's a 2-point game right now. It's Buffalo's job to make sure these last 2.9 seconds don't change that. Quickly get it into Cooper. Cooper pulls up for the three. Off the side of the backboard and no good. And we go to the halftime locker room in a good, tight one. Miami leads the Bulls by 2, 38-36.
Great. Is unpredictable. Unpredictability of everything. You can't predict anything. I never would have thought that Western will be down what they are, or Toledo will have that lead at Kent State.
So this is the 12th time in 15 games that the Bulls have trailed at the half. They have yet to win a game where they have trailed at halftime. But, as we mentioned, a lot of the normal trends haven't really held up here tonight, so maybe that'll just be another one.
Maybe things will change.
And there's an early turnover by Buffalo and a steal for Ian Elmer as he drives in on Janavius Smith. That's going to be goaltending.
I'm sure that's not what Coach Halkovich wanted to do.
A.J. Bolden, nice of him to show the hops, but that's the fourth goaltending in the last 2 games on the Bulls.
Or start the half, you want to start off strong, and the young fella ended up turning the ball over, giving up a basket on the other side.
Yeah, so a couple of mistakes there by Bolden, and he'll have a seat on the bench, and Fulcher will quickly come in. Sean Fulcher with a backhanded pass to Cy Chapman. Janivia Smith way outside. Isaiah Adams has yet to score in this game. How about the reverse announcer jinx as Isaiah's on the board?
Maybe that'll get him going. He struggled from three, but now, see one go in, you forget everything else once one goes in the basket.
Yeah, just his 6th 3 in the last 5 games. And a quick basket on the answer from Darwishi Hunter.
Miami, Ohio did a good job of a wide pin down, and Darwishi was able to curl it and get to the basket.
Kick it out for Joe Smith. He shot a couple of those threes this year. Not that time, and he'll flip it up, and it just won't fall in. I want to see the big men shoot threes here today, Turner.
I thought he was going to shoot that one.
Makai Cooper, not quite a big man at 6'1", but a successful scorer nonetheless. And the Red Hawks have run out to a little run here to begin the half. Janivia Smith was out of bounds when he touched that ball, and that will be a turnover. And watch the speed here from Makai Cooper.
Does a good job. Bulls don't quite pick him up in transition. He able to get to the basket.
Coach Steele says he feels like Makai Cooper has a high ceiling, and they've only tapped a little bit into what he can do in his freshman year. And here's Cooper again into the lane. Kick it back out for fellow freshman Elmer. And now to the veteran Darwishi Hunter. Freshman Potter has his pocket pick, and here he comes. Flying in is Sky Sy for the right-handed dunk.
Great hands on defense. Risky play, too, having 3 fouls, but he's a veteran, so he knows what he's doing.
First basket of the second half, only 6 in the game for the Bulls' leading scorer. Boltman backing in on Sable, trying to create space. Fall-away jumper, good.
That's a tough shot.
First 2 of the night for the grad student transfer from Division II McKendree University, Bryce Boltman. Chapman left alone, shoots the 3, side of the rim, no good. And Ian Elmer will back it out, hand it off to the point guard Cooper. Screen from the big man Potter, roll it back to him, shoot the 16-footer, good.
And their spacing is so good. They fill those 4 spots, and they really make you decide what you want to do defensively. Do you want to help, or do you want to just give them those wide open shots like that?
So are you starting to see more examples as this game has gone on of that spacing that we talked about?
Yes, the spacing, that's what the Princeton offense, but they also mix in some ball screens as well, too.
13 in the game now for Sean Fulcher.
Once again, him getting in the paint. That's a good sign for Buffalo.
Red Hawks have hit 6 of their last 7 baskets. And that one, are they going to call goal? They're going to call goaltending again. I don't know about that one. My first glance was I thought that was a good shot block by Cy Chapman, but what do I know?
They should review this one. I thought he got it on the way up. Yeah, I thought that.
Oh, absolutely.
That looked clean. They should review it.
All right. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but I'm glad you're telling me that they're still pretty good.
I think you're good. I think we got the same call on that one.
All right. So that's 2 goaltendings in this half now on the Bulls. And the miss from Isaiah Adams. And a steal by Cy Chapman. Cy trying to create some space, now gets doubled as Mirambeaux comes over, and that will be a foul. And I believe they're going to get it on Mirambeaux, but here comes Cy Chapman into your living room. That one So to follow up on the freshman point, we talked to Travis Steele about how he's building his team, and he said, hey, everyone in college basketball is going one way, the portal and transfer. He goes, if everyone's going to zig, I'm going to zag. I'm going to bring in a bunch of freshmen, work on retention, and get those guys better because he feels like his program build is all about next year. That'll be year 3 for him.
He's an experienced coach, so he knows what he wants, and he knows what he can coach, and I think he's a guy who likes to bring guys that he can mold, and that's why they have all these freshmen. They have a talented freshman class, and he's going to build with these guys. Now, the big part is he's got to retain these guys to watch these guys get older.
Going to be a foul and a hand check there on Sean Fulcher. And I think George Halkovich, to some degree, is in the same boat with guys like Sable and Bolden. He wants to build around those young guys as well, too.
Yeah, he said that in a very similar way. He wants to have guys that he can mold, and that's what they did at Villanova by young guys, and that's what he wants to do here at Buffalo as well.
And to follow up the point, I laughed when Coach Steele told us, about, how things have changed in college athletics now. He said, none of us really know what we're doing when it comes to trying to build teams.
Yeah, he said it's no blueprint, which I agree. No blueprint is whatever. Honestly, the way it works now is whatever you feel comfortable with as a coach.
But, I did feel like in getting ready for this game, I was impressed that they were able to bring a Darwishi Hunter in who spent 2 years at Northern Illinois, has played at a few other places, veteran presence to kind of supplement all those freshmen. And there's one of those freshmen on cue, Makai Cooper, hitting the 3. And it's the largest lead of the game right now for the Red Hawks on a 9-2 run.
Miami has not missed a shot this half. They're 7-7 from the field. Buffalo's trying to, mix the defenses up, do things to kind of get them off balance a little bit. They're in the zone right now. They got to keep it out of that high post area, which was wide open right now.
Into the big man. That's too easy for Anderson Mirambeaux.
Well, Chapman's in a tough spot. He's got 3 fouls. He can't be aggressive, and Miami, Ohio took advantage of it.
There are your second half numbers. Again, perfect in the half from the field. Bolden in the corner as Buffalo's offense has gone stagnant. There's another turnover. 9th of the game for the Bulls. And this 11-2 run has a chance to be extended. 12-point Red Hawk lead. Mirambeaux on Chapman. Side I don't know what Side's supposed to do there, particularly with 3 fouls.
Yeah, it's just kind of, you really don't know what to do. You don't want him to pick up a foul.
And a timeout call by George Halkovich III. It's a 13-2 Red Hawks run that has built their biggest lead of the night. 19-7 since we started the half. The big man Anderson Mirambeaux, a big reason why, but what has changed here, Turner?
I think, Miami's defense, they've shrunk the floor like they're supposed to, and offensively they've been able to get some easy shots, and they've hit some threes, which is what they do.
And again, only 9 combined points from Adams and Chapman, the Bulls' 2 leading scorers. Lloyd McVeigh hits the 3 from the corner.
That was a good pass by Adams. One thing that Adams, they're doing a good job keying on him, but he's doing a good job not over-penetrating. He was able to make a pass there for an assist.
And a nice feed from the baseline and an easy 2 for Jaquel Morris. And much like the game on Saturday where the Bulls were playing well against Western Michigan, they just hit a stretch and a slump in the second half, and it cost them the game. And you can't have that number on the left and really ever expect to win.
Right. The good thing about the last game was they were able to fight back and hope they can do the same here.
Jaquel Morris goes up and blocks the shot of McVeigh, and the Red Hawks get the possession.
You look at Miami's defense. What they're doing is they're in the paint. If you go in the paint, there's going to be 3 or 4 bodies in there. They're making Buffalo kick the ball out and shoot threes. They're protecting the paint.
A little pressure here coming from the Bulls full court. They got to figure out some ways to get back in this one. And look at the points of the paint number has jumped back up to a big Miami advantage. They've only hit 1 3 here in the second half, so this is where most of their points are coming from. That's a shot block for the Bulls. That's an opportunity as Bolden hands to McVeigh. Working around to Adams. Sable for 3. Back iron no good. Bolden hustles for the rebound.
That's what Bolden does. Flies around, makes plays.
And McVeigh will reset. Gets caught in the lane, slips and travels. Had Isaiah Adams cutting through the lane. I don't know whether Sean saw him or not. And again, just the numbers are kind of backing up how this has come off the rails a bit here. It was a 2-point game at the half, and it has been all Miami in our first 7 minutes and 22 seconds. And some of it, a lot of it, has been self-inflicted on the Bulls' part with the turnovers and some bad shot selection and just some bad defense.
Right.
Mirambeaux faking the behind-the-back pass, running over and through McVeigh for 2. It's like roadkill right now when the big old semi gets going down the highway.
He's just hard to top. You got to try to get in front of him. And I know McVeigh tried to take a charge, but he wasn't squared up.
Quick step on the baseline. Sable feeds McVeigh. Back iron no good. Foul on this end. It will stay with Buffalo.
I mean, Miami's just flying around. Mirambeaux in the paint. I mean, he's just taking his time. McVeigh had the right intentions. It just wasn't the right way of doing it.
Yeah, and again, that's, about 100, officially, by official weights, that's a 100-pound mismatch right there.
Yeah, 100 plus maybe.
That's what I said. Of the official numbers, which we know are usually embellished in whichever direction they want them to embellish in. Right. Look at the move to the rim and the scoop shot by Sean Fulcher.
Good move by Fulcher. The way the Bulls get back in this game is by getting stops consecutively. I think, once again, Miami has not missed a shot this half.
Mirambeaux on the left block, eyeing up on Isaiah Adams. It's Adams' chance to try to stop him. And again, the kick out for the 3. Boltman hits it. And when everybody collapses on the big man inside, if he can pass, that's what happens.
Those are the threes that Miami wants, inside-out threes. Good pass by Mirambeaux. His basketball IQ.
Boy, what a mix of talent in a big, giant package is Anderson Mirambeaux.
He just can do so many things. He's got a good IQ. He knows how to pass. He's really good, patient in the paint. And then when he's making shots, he's almost impossible to guard.
I want to see him make a 3 here. He's tried one and missed it, but that'll cap off the night. And there's another pass to the corner, and Boltman hits the 3. Back-to-back assists from Anderson Mirambeaux.
Bulls did a good job guarding him in the first half in the three-point arc. This half they've made a few.
And the lead is now up to 19. Fulcher with the miss.
Bulls need a little bit more ball movement. It's a lot of one-on-one, tough step back, mid-range shots. They were doing best when they were getting in the paint, passing, making plays, another pass, getting wide open shots instead of contested off the dribble pull-ups.
Sloop it in for Mirambeaux. Head, shoulders fake. Nice block by Isaiah Adams. That's one way to stop him. Give it to Fulcher. Fulcher whips it to the corner. Sable. Top of the key, Fulcher, wide open 3, bullseye.
That's the right 3 to take. Inside out 3, good pass by Sable. Step in 3 for Fulcher.
And that ties the career high for Sean Fulcher with 18 points. Right back the other way, a miss on the 3 by Mabry. Fulcher to the cutter, McVeigh, great pass from Sean Fulcher. And Travis Steele does not like what he sees as Buffalo has cut into this lead, and he doesn't want that 18-point lead about 6 minutes into the second half against Toledo Friday and lost the lead and lost the game. And I think Travis Steele talked to us a little bit about that's the problem sometimes with a young team. They don't know how to handle success, and we've seen a little bit of sloppy play that the Bulls have forced, and full court pressure may be part of that strategy too.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Alkovich in their huddle was saying the same thing. One stop at a time. If we do what we're supposed to, then we can get back in this game.
Boltman had it tipped, but it winds up in the hands of Morris for the dunk.
Chapman usually in those situations he's contesting that, but he's got 3 fouls, and I thought Coach Steele did a good job drawing it up and attacking him to try to pick up that fourth.
Yeah, and I think the foul trouble has really impacted the contributions that the Bulls would normally get from Cy Chapman. Sean Fulcher's picked up the slack, a lot more aggressive offensively. That one wouldn't go.
Yeah, Miami's having a tough time keeping him out of the paint.
Morris, high post, handoff. Mabry, fall away from the lane, good. Ryan Mabry, the sophomore from Belmar, New Jersey, 7 points in the game.
I know he shoots a lot of threes, but, man, he's a good player, man. He can score on pretty much all levels. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence, and he takes and makes tough shots.
On the All-MAC freshman team a year ago was Ryan Mabry. Isaiah Adams with a drive to the hoop, just the second basket of the game for the Bulls' second leading scorer.
Maybe that'll get him going a little bit. Getting to his left hand, he's almost impossible to guard when he gets to that left.
Double team way outside. Miami will be able to move it around and get it into the hands of the veteran Hunter.
Look at the spacing in Miami.
There's a great example of it, isn't it?
Yep.
And that's what happens when you leave that kind of space available. A good three-point shooter like Ryan Mabry drains it.
You know, going into the game, you don't want to give up threes, but you know, when they get layups sometimes naturally you sink inside.
Oh, and Jaquel Morris just rips the ball out of the hands of Isaiah Adams and finishes.
He was really aggressive on the hedge, and Adams was a little open, and he was able to step right in and get to take it from him.
And this is the largest lead of the night for the Redhawks at 21 points. And another turnover by the Bulls, and a frustrated body language from Cy Chapman on that play.
That's when you're down, that's one thing you can't do is turn it over.
And unfortunately, that's what the Bulls have done to allow Miami to build this lead in what was a 2-point game at the half. And they're just getting all the rolls now. That's 12 points all in the second half for Bryce Boltman.
I mean, Miami's shooting.
So we get a media timeout, a well-needed one for the Buffalo coaching staff, and this is one of the plays of the game for the Redhawks. Give me that ball. Again, this is, I'm sure what Travis Steele will, if this winds up being a sizable win tonight, he'll be happy because it's a learning moment for a young team after a couple days after they blow a double-digit lead in the second half. They come back and build one and then don't let it get away. We've still got some time to figure that out, but right now, and that's not even a good sign as Isaiah Adams grabs at his ankle as he goes down there. He battled some ankle injuries earlier this year.
Good play out of the timeout by allowing him to get to his left hand. Looks like he might have rolled that ankle.
That left ankle, yep.
Hopefully it's a tweak and he's able to shake back and be able to keep playing.
He'll stay in, so that's a good sign. Get it into Sable. Working around to Bolden. And Adams gets trapped, but kicks it to Janivius Smith. Joe thought about the three. Almost lost it. Adams will shoot the three, way off. But a good rebound for Sable, and eventually a tip in for Janivius Smith.
Smith's been a little quiet this half.
Yeah, just his first basket of the game, as a matter of fact. Only 3 rebounds, but he's dealt with some foul trouble as well. Only played 9 minutes. The foul trouble for Smith and Chapman in the first half kind of set a tone for things. And look at the big man again with another assist as Mirambeaux feeds the cutting Ryan Mabry.
The spacing, once again, I know we talked about it a lot, but that's a big part of their offense.
19 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists for Anderson Mirambeaux.
And when you have a big that is skilled, that can make passes, it makes their offense a whole lot better as well.
That's Bryson Wilson, the freshman in the game for the Bulls. He misses the 3. You know, we're still going to see a lot more MAC teams, and there's still a lot more great players to see, but you're going to have to work really hard to convince me there isn't a more fun player to watch in the MAC than Anderson Mirambeaux. It's kind of bummed the Bulls aren't going to play him again this year, although I'm sure they aren't that disappointed about it.
Right. He just, he doesn't look like he can do the things that he does, and then when he gets in the game, he shocks you with how he moves.
And here he is, top of the key. He's not afraid to shoot that. And maybe he should have shot that. foul is going to go on Isaiah Adams, his second. But, you know, again, just a unique player. You don't see a lot of guys at any level of basketball with his skill and his size. You certainly don't see him in the MAC. Speaking of that, a little oddity occurred to me today. We've seen Reese Potter at 7'1", the freshman for the Red Hawks. He's the third 7-foot player the Bulls have faced in the last 4 games. You don't think you would see that at this level all that often. Matter of fact, Zach Linnell, the sports information director in charge of basketball, says he thinks the Bulls have faced 6 different 7-footers this season.
Wow. I mean, you don't see that a lot, but once again, these guys are getting bigger and more athletic now and every day.
Tip in by Janavius Smith for his second basket. 21 points for Anderson Mirambeaux after that last basket for him. And there's a great cut to a wide open player and a bucket for Ian Elmer. He's now the 4th different Red Hawk in double figures. Who did the Bulls get mad at the MAC office for that?
No clue.
And one of those 7 games coming up on the road is still to be determined. That's the MAC Sun Belt Challenge game on February 10th, where the Bulls will go on the road to take on a Sun Belt team. We haven't figured out, or they haven't told us yet, who that's going to be. And there's another turnover for the Bulls. That is 13 in the game, and I believe that's 8 in the second half. That's Jackson Katecki, another one of those 7 freshmen on the Red Hawks roster that's making his first appearance of the night. The lead is at 25 points, the largest of the game. The Red Hawks have scored 46 second-half points.
They've only missed 3 shots this half.
I buried the lead on that one a little bit. Yes, that's how you do that. An amazing performance in the second half. There are your points, and eventually we'll pop up your second half field goal shooting percentage numbers as well. And it's not pretty if you're a Buffalo fan. That's 87.5% for those that don't want to do the math. Oh, there we go. We round up around here. So how does George Halkovich III sort of take what he's seen here in the second half and work with it, Turner? And I know, unfortunately, you've been in a few situations like this as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as a head coach, you got to look at what you got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to see what did you do that put you at this point. And I think in the beginning of the second half, the Bulls stopped going inside out, you know, as far as penetrate pitching and getting good shots, and start going one-on-one a little too much. And then offensively, Miami did a good job of converting off turnovers, and they ran their offense to a T, which allowed them to shoot 88% from the field.
Kind of a scramble play there, but eventually results in a possession here for the Red Hawks. A fall away from the lane by Potter. It won't go. Last basket by Sean Fulcher, a career-high 20 points in the game for him. Bolden, corner 3, no good.
The positive you can take out of it, too, is that Fulcher, he can be that spark. Miami's done a really good job on Chapman and Adams. And those other guys have picked up the slack a little bit, and you got to build off of that. That's one thing that Coach Halkovich can do, is build off of.
Long 3 by Mabry won't go. And I think that's one of the questions for this Bulls team, is who's the number 3 scorer. At times it's been Ryan Sable. He's had a good stretch of games here. He has 12 points in this game, but all of them came in the first half. So if Fulcher can become 3 and or 4 or somewhere in that mix, take a little bit of pressure off of Chapman and Adams.
Right.
That's needed, right? You just can't rely on the same guys all the time, because some teams are going to be able to take them out. Tonight being the example of Adams and Chapman, who averaged about 31 combined a game, only have 11.
Right. I thought Miami, in the game plan, they wanted to really not allow those guys to beat them, make the other guys on Buffalo beat them, and I thought they did a good job of doing that, as you can see with the scoring totals of those 2 guys.
Under 2 minutes to go in this one. And still hustling with a bunch of young players in, getting valuable minutes for Travis Steele are the Red Hawks.
You know, Miami, Ohio looks like one of those older MAC teams when I played, where they had a young group that you know, were up and down. And then by the time they were juniors and seniors, they were the best team in the league. And that's one thing that's, at this day and age, is very unusual in college basketball, especially with keeping this group together.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you know, retention becomes the key here. If in fact all of these players have a chance or decide to play out their career here, this is a MAC championship level potential team in another 2 years. But in the world that we live in now, that's just not as likely as it was back in your day.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. They have size, they have skill. The guys play, you know. One thing Coach Steele said about his team is that they love the gym. Those guys love to work.
Great pass from Lloyd McVeigh to Zakir Williamson. Good minutes tonight for Lloyd McVeigh. 7 points, 1 steal, 1 assist.
I mean, I think McVeigh and Williamson have given them positive minutes. I mean, they've showed that they can come in the game and help the team, you know, as best they can, and they're becoming reliable guys. This is what Coach Halkovich can build on, is showing these guys, look, man, you played, and you played against a good team, and you can get better. And when we're going to need you as the season progresses.
Under a minute to go, another bucket for Bryce Boltman. 14 points all in the second half for Boltman. Ryan Sable, who has yet to score in the second half, tries it, comes up short. McVeigh from the corner, no good. Good rebound by Bolden, who hands it off to Sable, who does get on the board here in the second half. 14 now in the game for Sable. This is Eli Yofan in the ballgame for the first time for Miami. Eli, man, it's a 20-point game. You had a wide-open three. You got to put that up. He doesn't play a lot of minutes. He would have been okay with shooting that one. Instead, he's going to let the clock run out. Handshakes between Travis Steele and George Halkovich III. An impressive second half where the Red Hawks outscore the Bulls 48-29 is the story of this game.